hot here in Houston. We are doing some amazing things here in the Houston area. We want to thank everyone for continuing to support Hodges Communications Group and the Business Behavior Podcast powered by Hodges Communications Group. And I am your host, Kelly KP Hodges, and this is my co-host and business partner,
Chandra Brooks.
all right, y'all know Chandra. Y'all tune in. That's all we getting out of her. That's it, Chandra Brooks. Well, we are we are excited this week to feature. We're going to have an awesome dialogue. We're featuring one of our clients this week. We're excited about that. KiKi's Beauty Parlor. Ashaki Thompson is going to talk to us about rebranding yourself, and then also just give some little nuggets on how she sustained and thrived 30 years in the beauty industry. Ashaki has done hair as long as I've known her, which is most of my life. I often tell the story. I probably would still be in eighth grade math had she not been there to help me out in eighth grade math. So without further ado, we're going to welcome Miss Ashaki Thompson, owner of KiKi's Beauty Parlor, also known as KiKi in the social media world. KiKi, how are you? Welcome
Hi,
to
how
this
you
amazing
doing?
program.
Thank you. How are you doing?
We're great. We're great.
We're doing good.
We are so glad to have you. Relaxed. You ready?
I am.
It's just us.
It's just
Don't worry
us.
about anyone else.
It's just Girl Talk Live with about, I would love to say we have about 3 million viewers. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Right.
But but thank you
It's
so much
coming.
for joining us. We are so excited to have you as a client, and then also for you to tell your story on how you have thrived and survived, and your ups and downs and peaks and valleys in the beauty industry for over 30 years. So tell us a little bit about how
I'm
you got
excited.
started in the hair salon, in the hair industry.
You know what? I've always loved doing hair. I can't really remember a time that I didn't. Um, Fortunately, my mother was she was a teacher, and she specialized in vocational education.
Mhm.
And so she always told us that, when we left high school, we were going to leave with some type of skill to
Mhm.
fulfill. We were going to leave with some type of skill that in case anything were to happen, we could take care of ourselves. And
Mhm.
so I can remember back being 8 years old, braiding my cousin's hair. So that tells you about how far back I've done hair, and I've always loved it.
Mhm.
So when I got to high school, my mother insisted that I take cosmetology so that when I graduated, I'd have a skill. And so
Mhm.
I graduated in 1991, and I got my cosmetology license in 1991, and this is where I am.
Amazing, amazing. And you've really seen the hair industry change over the last 30 years. Tell
I
us a little bit
have.
about how you've seen that transition.
If your mom always says things just come over and over again, they repeat themselves. And it's the same with hair. It's repeating itself. You have to have the basics. And what I've seen lately, I'm going to say in the last 10 years or so, is most women have gotten away from their own natural hair that grows from their scalp. And that
I'm
is
sorry. I'm sorry. Say that again, because I want to. What? Say that again.
the hair that grows from their scalp, their natural hair.
So we've gotten away from that. I don't. Okay.
A
Okay.
lot of women, a lot of women have. And what
Okay.
I'm finding now within the probably the past 5 years, maybe,
Mhm.
a lot of women that tried and true. There are a lot of women. I'm glad to see us here today that have our own natural hair. None of
Mhm.
we don't have a wig, and I love my. I still have wigs and I wear them, but
Mhm.
it when I take it off, you have to have something to work with. Something that you can get up and go.
Mhm.
So I enjoy this seeing women wear their natural hair. Just
Mhm.
because society and media, we believe that we have to have a wig or weave or something like that. So
Mhm.
a lot of women that didn't enjoy that when it was happening are saying, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore, and we're wearing our natural hair.
Mhm.
So I've seen that change, and it's transitioning again. You know,
Mhm.
in 2008, when like around recession time is when I started seeing a lot of women stop going to salons and started wearing the wigs and weaves. And I think that a lot of women are finally fed up with it. Either
Mhm.
they got so much damage or they're just tired. You're tired. It's hot. You don't want to wear a wig anymore. We want to get up and go. We want, something that we can wrap and go. We don't want to sit in a salon for 8, 10 hours. So, this is
And you
doesn't take 8 to 10 hours.
And Chandra just said we remember those days, But for us
Yes.
as women, I can remember because I had my aunt was a hairstylist and she owned her own salon. I tell you, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I can
Right.
remember that to me that was just so exciting. My job in the salon when we spent the summers with her, I would be responsible for folding the towels, so I was in the
Okay.
salon the whole day. That was when I grew up, I always said when I graduated from college, I wanted to make sure I always had some money set aside to be able to go to the salon because for me, that was just a
Right.
joy and a highlight. That's like,
Yes.
okay,
And
this
it
is my
should be.
treat for working hard all week. Yeah.
And that
And
should be. I would like to
oh,
see women get
yeah.
back to that. That
Hmm.
should be. I mean, we do that for our nails. We do that for our
Hmm.
feet. We do that for our skin. Why not do that for our hair? You know, um, what I'm seeing, everybody does not have to wear weaves or wigs or things like that, but it
Hmm.
seems to be easier. And the reason it seems to be easier because there are a lot of hairstyles and cosmetologists that just aren't um, well educated on
Hmm.
the hair, on real hair. Um, Even when I was in school getting my instructor's license a couple years ago, I noticed the girls that were in the classes, they weren't interested in finding out um, the science in your hair. We had
Hmm.
to learn that was the basics of cosmetology is learning the science in your hair, learning how to, keep your hair on your scalp, learning how to
Hmm.
knock infections, learning how to keep funguses from your scalp. They're not interested in learning those particular types of things. And that's we I don't know many that grew up in my generation that didn't get our hair shampooed every 2 weeks. At
Hmm.
the least every 2 weeks, if not every week. We have to get back to doing that because without a healthy scalp, the hair is not going to be healthy.
Well, I think part of the problem is now we live in a society where everything just moves so quick.
Quickly,
And
right.
everybody wants that quick fix.
Hmm.
They want the least amount
The
of
work, the
work,
time.
the
Hmm.
time that it takes to put into that. And so I think that maybe that's why we see so many that are going natural. But I tried natural. It's a lot of work.
It
It's
is
still
a lot
a
of,
lot of work. So
it
to
is.
me, there's no easy fix when it comes to our hair.
Hmm.
Taking
It's,
care of our hair properly, rather.
well, it's as easy as you make it. I can say that it's as easy as you make it because one thing for sure, your hair it's made the same components of your skin. So if you're trying to change something that's not to be changed, if
Hmm.
the DNA in your hair is going to be kinky, curly, and you have to work with and do something extra to your hair, then you have to do that. I guarantee it takes you about the same amount of time in any woman to get up, get your wig together, get your wig ready, tie your hair, your edges up at night, put your scarf on. It takes just as much time to do that as it does to actually put some oil sheet and wrap your hair and put that scarf on at night.
Hmm.
You're
Right.
right.
You're
It's
right.
a
You're
mistake.
absolutely right. Because, I'm going to say I'm one of those that thought it would be easier with going natural. But one of the things that aggravates me is my hair has always been very finicky. And so it'll be real jazzy one day. And the next day I'm like, oh my God,
What
what was the
happened?
process? What did I do differently this morning? So it is a process. And tell us a little bit about that. I saw one of your posts today. You said hair braids should be on for 6 weeks and not six
Not
months
six
or
months.
something like that.
Let me tell you, I have had clients that have worn their sew in for 5 and 6 months. They worn braids for 6 months. So when they come, what my question when I do that, it kind of hurts. Like, so you haven't shampooed your hair and scalp for 6 months? You haven't gotten down in there for 6 months? And then a lot of them they want you take it down and of course even if you did get it, it smells,
Mhm.
it smells like mildew, which
Mhm.
is a fungus. Now you have to treat something else. But instead of a lot of women treating that, they continue to do the same thing. Your scalp and your hair has to breathe, and I think a lot of women don't understand that when it is, a lot of women look at it as it's easier to put the wig on. Well,
Uh-huh.
it is because now your hair is accustomed or is mildewed or has so much product build up on it that if you don't go to a licensed cosmetologist to look at that and evaluate it and strip it and clean it and get you to the place you need to be, you're gonna always feel like that. You're gonna like you're saying, Kelly, you're saying, one day my hair does this, the next day it doesn't, it doesn't. That's natural. Sometimes you have to start over. You have to say, you know what? God, my hair was cute yesterday. What did I do? Well, now you may have too much product on it. You may have 2 days worth of product. So you may have to go ahead and shampoo it that night in the shower and start over. But that's still quick and fast.
Right.
And I know I'm gonna ask you this question, and I know you're gonna say you need a consult, but I do want to know.
I'm not gonna do you like that.
How often should you shampoo your hair? And my aunt always used to say, you wash your car, you shampoo your
hair. Right. Sometimes I use wash just so other people can understand, but that is right. You say shampoo. Well, I think the common misconception is that, we shouldn't shampoo our hair every day. We shouldn't shampoo our hair every week. Well, it depends on your hair. Every person's, the DNA in your hair is not like mine. I can shampoo my hair every day. Every day. You can probably shampoo yours every day because it's natural. It's what you do to it after you shampoo it. It's what you put into it. What kind of scalp do you have? What kind of texture do you have that's great? And looking at your hair, I may say you probably don't need to shampoo your hair every day. Let the oil build up in it 3 or 4 days, then shampoo it. It depends. Not a one, everybody's not going to have the same answer when it comes to that.
So, but what we can say is don't wait no 6 months to wash.
Please don't. Please don't. Don't wait 6 years. Don't wait 6 weeks. Don't even do that. 2 weeks is long enough. Don't go past 2 weeks.
And then you sashay up into a salon with mildew, and then get I'm sure you could deal with a lot of attitude about that as well.
Yes.
So what's your conversation? I know we talked a little bit about how you've grown as a hairstylist, as a cosmetologist. You mentioned that you're an instructor. You have your instructor's license. So as it relates to that, what are some of the things that you want to see and do differently in, say, the next 20 years, if that's how long you want to continue to work? Like, what would you like to do now that you have your instructor's license, just to train some of the ladies that are coming up behind you?
You know what? When I got my instructor's license, I initially thought that I wanted to open a school. That was my goal, because I have 30 years of experience, and I wanted to share. I want to share that some kind of way. And so I thought education would be my way of sharing it. But as I started interviewing with different schools, I realized that, they have their own curriculum. And when I started looking at it, it doesn't line up with what I want to teach. And when I stood there and looked at some of the young ladies that are in the classes, they're not interested in learning some of the things that I want to share. And when I when I talk to my clients and women, I've talked to so many women in my lifetime. When I talk to women, it's pretty much a common thing. They want to learn how to pull out their own beauty, whether it's wearing weaves or their own natural hair or whatever is your desired look when you're done. I want to teach women how to get their desired look, whether it's and do it properly, do it the right way. Let's not make and I say this as almost a motto: make your wigs be an option, not a necessity.
Okay, that's good.
Go ahead.
And we have a question from one of our faithful viewers. Thank you, Ms. Green, for tuning in. Ms. Green asked, she said, KiKi, you mentioned the science of hair care. What's your feedback on hair supplements?
I can like a lot of people take like the biotin. You need that, but you would need the vitamins and the hair growth and hair, skin, and nails. Those are, I can't say anything is wrong with them, but you have to speak to somebody licensed. I've looked at your hair. I can tell you if this is going to be for you. If you're trying to grow your hair and your hair is not necessarily without protein, I would tell hey, you need to start getting protein conditioners, not the supplements with the you don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
There's not, supplements are just fine. You know, if that's what she's talking about, it's like biotin and
Mm-hmm.
the hair, skin, and nail vitamins. If that's what she's talking, there's nothing wrong with it.
So
Nothing
so
wrong.
what so what I'm hearing is that supplements are not necessarily the fix all without a proper
It's not.
consultation.
It's
Right.
not. It's not the fix all. Just like we all need vitamins, but everybody doesn't specifically need vitamin D. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm have a low level of vitamin D, so I need to take vitamin D. You may not have a low level. You may need B12s, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't know that. And I don't know that unless you go to a doctor that takes your blood, has a consultation with you, and
Right.
tells you this is what you need.
And so you mentioned that speaking about consultation, and I think even for me, until Hodges Communications Group had you as a client, and we started talking and having those conversations, never thought about I needed to go in and sit down and just have a consult about my hair. And so knowing that that's something that you do, how do you market that? And well, not just market the consult, but how do you market the importance of having a consult, interviewing somebody about your hair before you say, okay, this is going to be my hairstylist? And then also, as a two part,
Mm-hmm.
the jumping around from hairstylist to hairstylist.
Chair, we call those chair hoppers. Shop hoppers. Shop
Uh-huh.
hoppers. You know what we call it?
Okay.
Well, okay. A consultation they teach you in cosmetology school that comes automatically.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of girls, because they're not licensed, you got to remember licensed versus non-licensed. They
Mm-hmm.
teach us that when we get our license. And a consultant, there's no way that my client, now this is in a professional setting, and that's where I think a lot of women get lost. Is if you're not going to go to a doctor that's working out of her house because she can whip up something for your face, whether she's a doctor or not. She could have went to 30 years of medical school, but if she's in her kitchen whipping up something, that's probably not going to be the doctor that you're going to prefer. So
Mm-hmm.
when you come to me, because I'm licensed, I'm professional, I've been in this business long enough to know when you cannot sit in a chair without getting a shampoo.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
don't,
I can't
that's,
come in there and say I shampooed my hair already.
I still want to shampoo it.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to start from scratch. I want to know when you sit in my chair that I've taken every product, everything from your hair. I want to see your hair wet. I want to see how it reacts to the water so I can see the porosity in it. See, this is where
Mm-hmm.
the school and the science comes in and the
Mm-hmm.
experience. It takes that to know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
In marketing a consultation, the reason that that's why I reached out to ACU because I need to understand for myself. This is new to me when it comes to marketing because
Mm-hmm.
in my we pass our club and word of mouth. But I
Mm-hmm.
come to money Cleveland. I'm kind of starting over here in Houston, and I need to know and understand how do I get back in this field
Mm-hmm.
with the different marketing and different strategies that are going on now. Also should be included. And when you sit down and I have a one-on-one consultation with you, you show me the picture that you desire, you tell me what's going on with your hair, I'll shampoo it,
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at it, I look at your scalp, then I can tell where we need to go from there. Or it may be a possibility. I may not be able to do anything. I may need to refer you to someone I know that does do that.
Mm-hmm. We got a couple of questions, Ashaki.
Sure.
We got Tamanisha Perry White. Thank you so much for joining us.
And
Tamanisha asked, Tam asked, what educational opportunities do you offer for clients?
well, this is what I'm trying to do. I have a lot of clients. This is what I noticed in my salon in Cleveland. I had a lot of mixed children, women that would bring their children in and they had no idea. This is just an example of what to do with their daughter's hair.
Biracial? Mix, you mean
Yes,
biracial?
biracial.
Okay.
Yes, I'm talking
Uh-huh.
biracial. And so they would bring them in, and the thing was they didn't know what to do to their hair. So when it comes to opportunities to educate my clients, I want to have I'm going to say a prescription for that particular area of that child's hair. And I want to teach her mother what to do to this child's hair. This is what you need to do to her. Because I'm going to say this. A lot of women don't want to sit in a salon, like you say, a few hours with their 8-year-old daughter, and they don't want to bring her. And a lot of kids just can't afford to bring their children every 2 weeks or every, opportunity that they can't comb their hair. So when it comes to an education opportunity, I want to teach those parents how to do their children's hair. I want to teach you how to do your hair. You know, if you want to wear natural hair, and once the consultation is done, and I can tell, okay, you keep it cut, you keep this, these are the products that you need to use. That is what I'm going to educate you in, and how to take care of your own hair, and relates to your DNA, your hair.
Okay, so if I wanted to come in and just have a consult, what's the low and high end to that consultation fee? Just thinking
Right,
about my
right
budget.
now, I'm doing a $25 20-minute consultation.
Okay.
That way we can see, and if you decide, hey, I'm going to advise you what I'm not now the products. That's where we go into another realm. But I'm going to
Mhm.
tell you, this is what I see happening with your hair. Is this something that the desired look that you want? Can you achieve that? And what you need to do to achieve it? Now, if you
Okay.
decide, okay, I want to, KiKi, I like the way that you're saying cut it and do this and do that. Then we'll go over into that area.
Okay. We have a couple of questions. Shantae Michelle Thompson. Thank you, Shantae, for joining us with Don's Couture Designs. She says, as you get older, even your natural hair sheds. Um, I lost it. What can you do to stop the shedding?
It would depend on what's happening with your hair. In the consultation, I would ask those questions. What's happening with your hair? When did you start noticing it shedding? What are you putting on it? Because you may be putting some on it that's assisting in the shedding. What is your scalp doing? Are there changes in your body? Are you drinking enough water? Are you have your vitamins? What is your doctor saying? Have you gotten blood work done? It would depend on what's happening with you specifically in order for me to tell you what to do to stop the shedding.
And I've heard that shedding is natural because it makes room for growth. Is that just one of those hair myths? Is that
No,
not a natural?
there's, no, there's a
Huh?
natural shedding of your hair. You naturally lose about 100 strands a day. That's natural. So a lot of times
Okay.
when you tied your hair up, or you wearing braids or something, and then when you take it down and you look and you see all of this hair, and you think, oh my God, I'm losing all my hair. No, it's just the natural shedding that's been tangled up into that. It's got to be combed out.
Okay.
Yes, you have a natural shedding and a natural growth. You shed and you grow. It's a pattern.
I wanted to, we have another question. Nakia Cooper, thank you, Nakia, for joining us. Nakia said during the pandemic, she was not doing anything with her hair. How does she transition it to start doing styles again? Because it's gotten very dry.
Well, again, you have to, let a licensed cosmetologist look and see what is happening with your hair. If you feel like your hair is dry, then you probably need some type of hydrating or moisturizer. And a lot of times when people have natural hair, they believe that they have to just oil it. It sometimes oil will dry your hair depending on the type of oil you're using, and if that's the type of oil that your hair needs. You may be
Mm-hmm.
using the
Yeah.
wrong type of oil. You may not need oil. You may need hydrating. You may need moisturizing. See, there's several different types of things to prevent dryness. It may not be dry, it may be brittle. There's just several different things that can be happening with your hair.
Well, I have a question as it relates to dry hair. So, back in the day, they used to use oil sheen, but now
Right.
I see a lot of stylists just using a gloss. Is that
Like
is or are those is it on the same wavelength of each other? I mean, is it equivalent oil sheen versus the gloss that's giving you a shine to your hair?
Well, it may be a serum that they're putting on it. A lot of times the serum is just like for the top of your hair, like a protectant. It doesn't get into the your hair, the cortex of your hair. It doesn't get inside of your hair shaft. So a lot of times those serums are just for the shine, for the sleekness in your hair.
Okay.
Oil will
I
be
ne-
different. If your hair's dry, you need oil. If it's brittle and need a little shine, you may put this gloss or serum on there.
oh, okay, that's
But
very that's
again, consultation.
okay.
Consultation.
We have one more question. Jimmy Jones, thank you, Jimmy, for tuning in this week. Jimmy says he goes with a bald head. There's not a lot of info about scalp care for men. Do you have any recommendations on where to find info?
For scalp care for men, scalp
Yeah.
care for men will be the same as scalp care for women. It will depend on what's happening with your scalp, or you just want it to be shiny, or do you have, or you have hair bumps. It would depend on what's happening, what kind of um, scalp care you need.
Okay. So again, he would need a consultation.
Right, you would need a consultation.
So
We have to
Jimmy, you
determine
would
what's
need
going
a
on with your scalp and what type of products you need for your scalp.
Mm-hmm. So we have another question from Kim Roxy with Lamique Beauty Brand. Thank you, Kim, for joining us. Love and makeup and kindness. She says, "It's Hi, Kiki. Do you make hair units?" I have no idea what that is.
It's like a wig.
Oh,
I
okay.
know how to make them. I've taken all the classes on them, but I don't. I want to get away from that. I want to. Me personally, there's nothing wrong with them because I have them and I wear them, but that's just something that I want to get away from. I didn't. That's not a desire of mine to do. But I do know people that do, and I could definitely refer you to friends of mine that do.
Mm-hmm.
So with that,
Word of the day.
speaking about units, so I heard recently that wigs are seasonal. There are seasonal wigs. There are wigs that you wear in certain seasons. Can
For
you
me,
talk just a little
there
bit
is.
about that?
There is to me, just like your colors and your clothes and things. For
Right.
me, hey, some women wear their long, dark black wigs to their butt the entire year. But for me, that would be considered a winter wig.
So
That is
I'm
not
gonna need you to add some color. So what makes it more of a so a spring wig is more, even if it's dark, if you get a highlight, maybe. Is that,
right. I
yeah,
guess
okay.
that's what I mean when I said that. In the spring, it's spring, summer, you want to lighten up. You want something bouncy and airy. Just
Right.
when you think about your clothes in the spring, you want, linen. You want things that wind's gonna blow through. That's me personally. That's how I look at it.
Right.
So when the spring and the summer comes, I start getting my clients ready to lighten up. Put some lighter color that the sun is
Right.
gonna bounce off of.
Right. Right.
That's just
Right.
how I
Yes.
feel. Then when
Yes.
the fall starts coming, okay, we can darken it up a little bit, put a little red,
Mhm.
a little poppers.
Mhm.
That's just me. Even with wigs, I feel the same way.
Yeah. So
So,
you're not wearing honey blonde. You're
well, I
right.
was gonna say in the wintertime, we don't want to see no platinum.
We are no platinum in it. So seriously, when fall comes, you probably want to, because I know I personally do like an auburn in
Right.
the something to tone this down a little bit, and I agree with that. I do.
My skin changes. Let me tell you, my skin, skin and hair, Sam. Again, it's kind of the same components. So in the winter and in the fall, my skin changes.
Uh-huh.
My skin turn. I have like a little red undertone in my skin, and it
Mhm.
dries. In the winter. So I'm not gonna go. It's gonna still be a shade of blonde, but it won't be this blonde because it's
Mhm.
already dry. My skin and my hair is already dry. So in the winter,
Mhm.
I'm tone this up just a little bit. It won't be as bright. It won't be as vibrant. It won't be as light. Because of my skin. It doesn't match my skin in the winter. Or it's
So
gonna.
Kiki, we have a few minutes left. Chandra has a
Okay.
couple of questions that she wanted to
Good.
ask you. Chandra, go ahead.
So I know right now you're running a special and helping a local elementary school where your hair salon is located. Can you share a little
Yes.
bit of information about that?
I'm doing a back to school drive for Kiki's Beauty Parlor for you bring in your school supplies. My silk press are normally 75 and I'm running a special for 60 with your school supplies. And
And
I
that's
want people to
another.
understand. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I wanted you to talk about this Silk Press Express. We didn't get a chance to chat about that. Talk a little bit
What
about that and the importance of that.
Okay, it's Kiki's Beauty Parlor is the home of Silk Press Express, and my idea with that is to get you in 2 hours or less. Silk Press Express get you in 2 hours or less, and the reason that I do that is it's because you don't want to sit in the salon all day. Come
Mhm.
in, let's get blow dry, get the silk press, and get you gone. That's what we want to do. Anything that I can do to make a woman feel beautiful and want to get her hair done and come back in the salon and consult and keep your scalp clean. Anything that I can do to make that happen is what Silk Press Express is about.
And
And
that's another thing, that 2 hours, for me, that's probably one of the reasons why I went natural, because I added up all the time that I was spending in the
right
hair salon. So, we talk a little bit about how, in our 20s, that was a thing, it was nothing like
out
hanging out
there,
in your salon,
right.
all the salons, Spectrum, Momentum, All of them, you know, that was
All
what
of
we did
them.
on our side. House of Brown.
All of them.
If you wasn't in there 3 or 4 hours, you just, you
You,
weren't gonna
you
have a
wasn't
good
gonna be
style.
cute.
But as we mature, we realize, oh my God, look at, we start having families and having activities. We're like, okay, I need a
Exactly.
2-hour window. And so it's good to know that you, as a mature professional, someone that's been in the game a while, you understand the importance and value of our time, and as women who really still want to have that love and be in the hair salon, because it is a special time for us just to have that alone time.
I'm
And
on it.
I
Yes.
applaud salons that don't allow kids unless they being serviced.
Yes.
I applaud those salons.
No,
She being a little biased.
So with that being
no
said,
kids.
we want to thank you. And just really quickly, for those of you that are joining us, KiKi's Beauty Parlor, you can reach KiKi at 281-796-8770 to schedule your consult. And then we'll also put on the page her website where you can go in and make a reservation. I'm sorry, make an appointment and schedule
Yes.
a consultation with her. So KiKi, unfortunately, our 30 minutes are up, and we
I've
like to be
enjoyed you
mindful
guys.
and good stewards of people's time, and we have enjoyed you too. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
all that
you.
you've done, your 30 years of experience. And I think the key word for today, as Miss Green said on her post, is
Consultation
consultation.
with anybody.
Consultation. That's
Consultation.
right. All right. Well, thank you all so much. And thank you all for joining us for this month's podcast. And we will see you back here in September, the 4th Wednesday of the month. And thank you all so much for joining us. I am your co-host, Kelly Hodges, and this is my co-host, Chandra Brooks. And we're owners of Hodges Communications Group, which Business Behavior Podcast is powered by Hodges Communications Group. Thank you so much, and have a great
Thank
evening.
you. I hope to
All
see
right.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah. We all in